What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Thursday, everybody. Thursday night, we got breaking news, and I got a report on this because, in my estimation, this is some of the most significant news of the year. Because recently, and I feel very sorry for conflating both stories. I shouldn't have done that, and I do gotta apologize to you guys for that. When President Donald Trump made the announcement that the files would be released at a Turning Point event. On the same day, it was made public that one Matthew Sullivan was the guy that Jake Barber spoke about that got unalived. And that whole situation, we tried to look for information about it, but there's only like a really close circle that knew this information. I got to give major kudos to Chris Sharp for the recent article that he wrote, because there's a lot of very detailed information about Sullivan and about a general who knew him. And according to this article, Sullivan was part of the UFO Legacy Program. And we're going to read the article for you guys. But before that happens, though, I just want you to remember this guy's face and his name, too. About 5 days ago, Representative Eric Burleson gave statements to the Daily Mail about Sullivan. And amongst the things he said were, quote, "Look at Matthew Sullivan's credentials and his experience. He certainly was someone who was read in at the highest classification levels and knew some of our nation's most important secrets. And so did a lot of these other people. The fact that he had been scheduled by the UAP task force, that he had been scheduled to come and speak, after hearing about this tragedy, I felt it was worth looking into. The sudden and suspicious circumstances surrounding his death raised significant concerns about potential foul play and the safety of other individuals involved in this matter. Grusch was helping him come forward as a whistleblower. There's some that came forward that have come forward to try to be public just to avoid any kind of foul play. In a lot of ways, going public can be a protection in and of itself. I do know of at least one individual that did come forward and has been very public, and did so because he felt that his life was in danger," end quote. I think that he's talking about Dylan Borland here, because that's a situation that I think fits this description.
Do you have any personal knowledge of people who have been harmed or injured in efforts to cover up or conceal these extraterrestrial technology?
Yes. Personally.
Have anyone been murdered that you would that you know of or have heard of, I guess?
I have to be careful asking that question. I directed people with that knowledge to the appropriate authorities.
Maybe in a if we could get in a confidential area, SCIF, we could talk about that. But unfortunately, we were denied access to the SCIF, and that's very unfortunate in this scenario.
But I do want to read Chris Sharp's article, because I think this has to be frontline news in any publication, and it has to be worldwide. But you guys know how this works. So kudos to Chris Sharp. This is the article. It says, late Air Force officer linked to alleged legacy UFO program. The late U.S. Air Force intelligence officer Matthew Sullivan, who died in 2024 before he could, according to Representative Eric Burleson, testify in a federal UFO whistleblower case, is understood by Liberation Times to have been involved in an alleged legacy UFO program. Liberation Times further understands from sources that Sullivan was allegedly directly involved in the technology aspects of the UFO Legacy Program, believed to be related to an exotic vehicle suspected to be of non-human origin. Liberation Times was told that Sullivan carried out this work for a private corporation working with the U.S. intelligence agency, although his involvement in the alleged legacy UFO program is understood to have begun during his time as an Air Force officer. Representative Burleson has stated he, Sullivan, was scheduled to come in for an interview. Within 2 weeks, he had suspiciously committed suicide. Burleson has said he has grave concerns that Sullivan's death appears suspicious, suggesting the veteran intelligence officer may have been silenced before he could reveal what he knew. Sullivan had been contacted by unidentified anomalous phenomena whistleblower and retired U.S. Air Force Major David Grusch before the intelligence officer's sudden death, which reportedly left Grusch extremely distraught. Quote, Grusch was helping him come forward as a whistleblower, Burleson told the Daily Mail last week. Liberation Times understands that Grusch and Sullivan had previously served together within the Air Force. As a U.S. Air Force intelligence officer, Sullivan served at a number of high-level institutions, including the National Air and Space Intelligence Center, the National Security Agency, and the Air Force Intelligence Agency. He also deployed to U.S. Central Command and U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, and his obituary states that he earned a Bronze Star for his valor during Operation Enduring Freedom. Notably, Sullivan's funeral was attended by Major General David Abba, who served between 2021 and 2024 as a Director of Special Programs and head of the Department of Defense Special Access Program Central Office. Abba described Sullivan as, quote, the brightest intel lieutenant I ever met, end quote, and worked as his supervisor at Langley Air Force Base. Abba said Sullivan carried, quote, the burden that a select few in this nation have of truly understanding what is going on, end quote, adding that he bore that weight every day. Quote, there are not many people you can share that with, he said, but those who carry that weight know it and understand it, and we all have to lean on one another. I watched that young lieutenant, despite all the shenanigans, mature into one of the leading thinkers on the truly hard issues with enormous implications for our country. It frustrated him to no end, and we so often could not get out of our own way, end quote. Sullivan's death has come to light amid wilder media coverage of 11 scientists and defense-linked figures in the United States who have reportedly died or disappeared, many of them tied to classified aerospace and defense programs. Among the most notable cases is the disappearance of retired U.S. Air Force General William Neal McCaslin, who vanished from his home in Albuquerque in February. McCaslin was a former commander of the Air Force Research Laboratory at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, placing him at the center of some of the Pentagon's most advanced aerospace research. After leaving the military, he became involved with Blink-182 musician Tom DeLonge and his UAP-related efforts, which helped lay the groundwork for the modern congressional push for disclosure on UAP. Kudos to Chris Sharp for this, because something that I had already heard when I started asking about Sullivan was that he is or was a hands-on material guy, firsthand. And now Chris Sharp is confirming this. So presumably he was either operating or working on one of these things. That's the news. But there is a little bit more that I want to add here, because there is just a recent confirmation of two more people by none other than Lue Elizondo. And I do have my gripes with that, but I am going to show you this. Shout out to UAP James for this report. Let me show it to you. Lue Elizondo was on with Cuomo, and this is what he said.
There is an individual that somebody Chris Mellon, who's been on your show before, was going to talk to about 2.5, 3 years ago. He was a few days away from meeting this individual. He was an engineer, apparently on the legacy U.S. government's legacy UAP effort, and mysteriously died right before the meeting. There's another individual whom I spoke with. He reached out to me. I'm going to protect his identity here for the sake of his family, but he did meet an untimely end. He was a senior special agent at the Department of Energy, and he worked specifically in the Inspector General's shop, the IG shop. He was the most senior special agent for the Department of Energy, and he was talking to me about coming out and talking to Congress about what he knows within DOE and the files, the UAP files that they're holding on to. He was very upset, and he felt like he was a whistleblower. So I was arranging for this individual to actually meet with certain members of Congress. His wife, who is a doctor for the Veterans Affairs, walks in one evening after work and finds him dead on the sofa. Now, this was during COVID, but from my understanding, there was never any positive, if you will, connection between COVID and his death. He was relatively young. He wasn't an old guy. He wasn't particularly sick. He was healthy. He was athletic. So there are more individuals, and certainly I think the FBI should do exactly what they said they're going to do. You have folks like Anna Polina Luna that are working very hard behind the scenes, also trying to, you just had her on your show, that's trying to get some additional clarity into this. There was another individual that Dave Grusch used to work with. His call sign was Quake, and he was going to go public and talk to Congress. And unfortunately, he was in Washington, D.C. at a hotel, and they found him dead as well.
So just to keep track, Lue Elizondo is saying here that there was a guy who was from the Legacy Program, who was an engineer, who also died. And then there was another guy from the Department of Energy. Both of them were supposed to talk to Lue and Chris Mellon, and they both died. And he's talking about two individuals that are separate from Sullivan. So that makes it 3 Legacy Program adjacent or directly involved people that were just revealed over the last week that passed away. And we're going to speak about this publicly. So something that I do gotta say here about Lue is that, and I'm sorry, but it has to be said, you've heard David Grusch calling for Lue to come clean about his involvement in the Legacy Program, and he hasn't done that. Jeremy Corbell also suggested Lue that he came forward and talked about this because currently, and I'm sorry, but this is the truth, the UFO community does not trust Lue Elizondo. And these statements would have much more weight to them if Lue just came forward and explained the nature of his involvement in the Legacy Program. And I get it. He probably can't come forward and say anything really, but that's the state of things right now in the UFO community. Lue, unfortunately, does not have the trust that somebody like David Grusch or Dylan Borland or Matthew Brown have. That's just the reality of it. And I have nothing against Lue. Please, let it be clear. It's just the way things are. And unfortunately, these statements are not taken seriously because of this situation with Lue. I have to say that before I show you a little bit more information from Lue Elizondo's YouTube channel, where he gives a little more details into these two people. So let me show you. Here it is.
What you don't know yet is that there may be 2 additional individuals. One that Chris Mellon knew. I won't go into detail. That's his story to tell. But an engineer who apparently had worked on the Legacy Program was going to come forward. And a few days before Chris Mellon was supposed to meet him, he met an untimely end. I don't know the details surrounding his death, but he died. It might have been a heart attack, but I could be wrong. Then there's another individual, and I'm going to save his name to protect the privacy of his family, but he was a senior Department of Energy official. And this is probably in the 2023 timeframe. I'd been talking to him for some time, and he was willing to come out and talk to Congress, particularly Marco Rubio, about what he experienced regarding UAP in the Department of Energy. He was a very, very senior special agent at the time. If you do enough research, you'll probably figure out who it is. But out of respect for his family, I don't want to say his name right now, but I will provide those names to law enforcement and Congress if asked. This is an individual who was ready to come forward and provide some detailed conversation and information about DOE's efforts in the Legacy Program. His spouse is, I'll just say, a medical practitioner out here in this area. And she came home and she found her husband dead on the couch, on the sofa. He allegedly had died from COVID complications, but speaking to his spouse, he seemed okay the morning that she left. He was just sitting there watching TV, I guess. And yeah, he's dead as well. So, is it really COVID complications? It could be, but also maybe not. And I think it's important to recognize that the media is covering 11 people now, but it might be more, a lot more.
So there you have it, folks. Lue mentioned two more people besides this guy right here, Matthew Sullivan. But the big story here is that Matthew apparently dealt with UFOs, with a UFO, hands-on material. That's the information. And from generals' statements and from Chris Sharp himself. Him being a first-hand, hands-on person was something that I heard last week. I did not report on it because I didn't have confirmation on it yet. And now I do, thanks to Chris Sharp. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. What do you think about Matthew Sullivan being part of the Legacy Program, hands-on a UFO, according to reports? And what do you think about the other two that Lue Elizondo just mentioned? Do you agree with my assessment of Elizondo? Do you think that his statements on any of this would carry more weight if he just came clean about his involvement in this? Or do you not trust him at all? Let me know in the comment section down below. I can't wait to hear what you got to say. One last thing before I leave. I'm going to present to you with Psicoactivo's second ever sponsor. A really cool concept and an app by the name of Look Up from my friend Nick. Thank you to Look Up for sponsoring this video. If you're into UAP research, you need to check out this app. It's called Look Up. It's a free app that lets you explore UAP sightings on a global map in real time. You can see what's being reported near you, browse an archive of documents, notable figures, and programs, as well as connect with other researchers through research groups and community discussions with people who really take this seriously. It has a sky capture feature that lets you record weird things in the sky while helping you rule out planes, satellites, and rockets. It automatically logs your exact location time and direction, and then it pings other nearby users to corroborate and get their own video. For serious researchers, there's a full web dashboard at lookup-app.io. You can build advanced state queries, export your data, and visualize connections between cases, figures, and government programs in an attractive graph and/or on a map. There's also a heat map, a timeline view, and portfolio tools so you can build and share your own research collections. The app is free to download. It's on iOS now and hitting the Google Play Store within a week. And Nick is giving the Psicoactivo audience a free month of researcher tier that is the highest tier, full access to everything, including the web dashboard. If you're in iOS, you will enter the code Psicoactivo. If you're on Android, just subscribe to the researcher tier and your first month will be free. We also highly encourage feedback, good and bad. We want to provide features and tools that people want and will use. So if you have an idea, use our feedback form in the app or on the dashboard. And one last thing from Nick. He says, one last thing I want to mention. Look Up is independently built. No private equity, no government contracts, no corporate backers with agendas. It's built by researchers for researchers. That's important to us. So there you go, folks. And let me know what you think about both versions, about the web dashboard version and the app version. Both are really cool. So let me know what you think. And that's it for me today on this video, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Remember, stay curious and inquisitive like Christopher Sharp from the Liberation Times. Always. Bye.